Everybody, welcome to the very first ever unnamed podcast. I have nothing for you. I have zero interest in anybody's lives. I just want to make that abundantly clear right now as we speak. I just want to let you know that I am not reading from a script. It is just simply how do I describe this? Kind of a guide, if you will. But with that stated, I just want to let you know that I never really cared about you in the first place. She meant nothing to me, and your dad left because he hated you. That's all I got. So sorry about that. Let's see. All right. So one of the few things that I have been wanting to talk about today. Uh, God, I'm having a kid. You guys aware of that? I'm actually having a child. A little tiny me will be roaming around come November. It is a thought process that I have to think about quite often, simply for the fact I realize I look distracted. Let me just stare into your soul really quick. I'm having a child. Isn't that nutty? To think that me being a dad would be a real thing. I need to learn to sit. I'm having a child. And for anybody who's listening to this and is not looking at the camera, you're probably already annoyed at the fact that I'm doing a podcast and it's already a visual issue. With that stated, we're gonna move on. I'm working a lot. I'm working a shit ton, so I don't really have a lot of time to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in my life that I want to do. Like I wanna climb mountains and eat cigarettes. Simply for the fact that I think cigarettes are actually kind of good for you in a non-satirical way. I think if my mom doesn't get her cigarettes, then there's a good chance that she might kill the entire world. But who knows? That's just me. I grew up with her. You didn't, so you can't tell me wrong or no. With that stated, from the outside looking in, I just want to let you know that I'm gonna be a dad. It's nuts to think about. I don't know what that means for the rest of my life, other than I'll be taking care of a kid for at least 18 years. No, maybe 16 if the laws change, but you know what I mean. Who knows? I sure as hell don't. So that's gonna lead me into my next segment. That's my life essentially. Pretty boring, pretty straightforward. I'm aware that this might be a very short podcast in that sense, but I do want to go ahead and do a quick movie review. Isn't that lovely? Do you guys want to listen to my opinions on a movie? And I'm gonna go into full detail about this thing, so bear with me. We will hang in this together, and we're gonna have some fun, right? Now, the movie that I want to review with you guys is called The Black Phone, and essentially what the movie is it's about a man who's kidnapping children, if you will. This man has not been caught. He's taken about 7 children, roughly. And what they're talking about is what they're talking about. Listen to me. And what's happening is every kid that gets taken has pretty much the same strategy. It's like a motif for a killer. Kind of how they actually work. And we end up taking over the body of this one specific kid. I don't remember his name. It was kind of irrelevant because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But we're gonna keep going, and I'm gonna keep reviewing anyway. What happens is this kid gets taken, kidnapped. His best friend actually gets taken, kidnapped first, and then he eventually gets kidnapped as well. And believe it or not, what ends up happening is he doesn't actually play his game. There's this phone that's sitting on the wall in this basement that he's being forced to live in essentially, and it just randomly rings, and nobody has any idea why. The killer actually hears this ringing, but he claims it to be static electricity. That was a very big point in the movie. Is that the killer could hear the phone too, but every time somebody answered, nobody replied, which was, I thought, a very very well thought out idea. With that stated, this kid, who our main character, who is eventually kidnapped and taken to the basement. By the way, he has an abusive dad and a sister who he tries to protect in some way, shape, or form. But the sister, honestly, is more of a badass than this kid, and I'll explain that in just a second as well. So this kid, he gets taken by this killer, right? And what ends up happening is he doesn't play this killer's game at all. And it's because this phone keeps ringing and it keeps answering, and all the dead kids that have been taken prior and killed by the killer are giving him tips and tricks on how to survive. The very first thing that happens is he gets a call from the phone. He answers it, and he says, the dead kid actually says, "Please do not go upstairs. He's gonna beat you with a belt." And that was pretty much just the way it started. I will say that I very much enjoyed this killer's mask. I thought it was really a really cool theme. It was kind of like a half mask where the top half is a solid state, and the bottom half was transposable. Is that the word? I really don't know English. I'll learn it, motherfucker. But basically, what ends up happening is he has an option to do smiley faces and frowny faces upside down, like so. And what ends up happening is when the kid is good and he's trying to convince the kid that he's friendly and not going to kill him, he wears the happy mask. When he's upstairs waiting to beat the shit out of the child with the belt, he's wearing the sad face mask. And it turns out that the kid is very, very good at being very clever. So the movie goes on. He gets his first phone call. He doesn't go upstairs, and it offsets the game a little bit. Now the killer's confused on what he should do next, so now he's trying to bait the kid as much as possible by leaving the door open, by giving him more food and water and stuff like that. Just essentially stuff just to keep him alive for the most part. But the kid keeps getting these phone calls from all these dead kids, and he keeps getting tips and advice on how to survive and not die. With that stated as well, the very last thing that ends up happening is all the dead kids kind of come together to teach this kid how to fight, to defend himself, and how to kill this killer. Long story short, and I mean pretty long story, but very, very worth the watch, is this daughter, another main scene, his sister, his sister is actually having these visions as well. I can't really tell if she looks Native American, but that's originally what I thought. Always wearing this shawl and poncho, very stereotypical Native American type of deal. Is having these dreams and nightmares and all these random premonitions about how these children have died, and just random hints on where the children have died. Just random places. Just random hints. And she can't quite put it together, other than the fact that there's a cop, an investigator, who has gotten some of these hints that were never publicized. For example, there was some black balloons. These black balloons were at the scene. They were never publicized, so ergo, because the child can point out that the black balloons were real, then she's obviously onto something. We don't exactly know what. Are you listening to me? I'm talking about the black phone. With that stated, uh, so, where was I? I got distracted. Anyway, this child is having visions and premonitions of how the killer is killing things, and she's having dreams of all these dead children, and the cops have unpublished information, and she's just hitting it right out of the fucking park like it's nothing. She knows exactly what's happened to these kids that has never actually truly been publicized by anybody. And then what ends up happening with the kid who's been kidnapped is he ends up killing this killer and getting out. The child, the Native American child, if you will, ends up finding all the other dead kids who were buried in the other house. And it's spoiler alert, by the way. So with that stated, it's a pretty good movie. You should go check it out. I kind of just gave it all away, but enjoy while you can. It's a good fun ride. I highly recommend. Um, Something that I'm watching TV wise, and a lot of people are probably going to call me crazy for this. Evil. Evil on, what do you call it? Not Hulu. What the fuck is it? God, it's one of the 50 fucking streaming services you have to pay for. Paramount. It's on Paramount. Evil on Paramount is actually it's pretty good. It kind of lost me in season two. I lost a lot of interest, and they kind of brought it back in season three. It seems like in the first season of Evil, it had this set tone, if you will. Season two had this completely fucking dysfunctional tone, and then season three had this another set tone that was different from season one and season two. However, I think season three is just as good as season one, if not better, in my personal opinion. There's something about season two of Evil that kind of confuses me a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I lost a lot of interest in the show during season two, and I just decided, you know what, I've already made it this far. I'm going to give it another chance and just keep going with it. And if I thought season three sucked, I would stop watching it. And it's just kind of something me and Dominique have an option of just watching together. But if it got any worse, I probably would have just fucking said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out. I don't want to fucking watch it. It sucks." Dominique, we're never fucking watching this shit again. It's a shitty show. You don't even like horror movies because you get too scared and I have to hold you. And I have to hold you and just yeah. If you're gonna watch Evil, I do recommend watching season two. Simply because it does have a continuation story, which I think maybe that's what caused a big part of my confusion with it. In season one, there's this initial story that gets started, and then it kind of gets paused in season two, and I think that kind of ruins it just a little bit for me. And then season three, it kind of picks up where season one left off for the most part, and it's everything that I was interested in finding out from season one. There's in season one, there's this set tone of is it real or is it not real, and are we disproving this simply for religion, or are we disproving this for science? It's that very black and white like feel to it, and then season two just kind of fucking meshes it all together, and season three kind of has that separation again, which I really fucking love. And that's the only reason I would recommend for people to keep watching it. It does get way better, and then it also, like I said, it is pretty much like three separate directors directed all three seasons. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't looked it up, but that is kind of what it feels like. It's like three very separate, different writers have set this up, and it's a very weird position for any show to go in. But it is worth watching if you like things like that, like American Horror Story. It's kind of similar to that in a way, shape, and form, but not exactly. I think American Horror Story did a lot better of the seasons and the storytelling. But Evil is worth a watch. I do recommend it. Something else we're watching is Criminal Minds. Everybody knows about daytime TV, Manifest, and Impractical Jokers. That's kind of my daytime TV routine, if you will, but the thing that really stands out is Evil. Something I do highly recommend. Another side note, just to throw it out there, I've never actually seen very many Disney movies. The only ones that I have seen are with Dominique, and I don't remember any of them because I never really gave a shit for... Never really truly gave a shit for it, so I just never really paid attention to it much. There is kind of an exception to this, and that's the Pixar stuff. I have seen most of the Pixar stuff because I enjoy the animation of it. I thought it was done very miraculously, and I kind of grew up on Toy Story. I had that whole ordeal going in my life, but I thought that was really cool. And let's see. So games I've been playing, and a lot of games that I've been playing are Rocket League, Pokemon Go. That's had its resurgence, believe it or not, and Minecraft, which oddly enough has had some kind of resurgence, but it's a game that I always end up going back to. These three games are the competitive, the fun, and the creative aspect of everything. So with Rocket League specifically, I try to get as competitive as I possibly can be, and with that stated, I don't do very well because I'm shit at the game, but I do enjoy it. I do like learning. There's a very big skill gap in this game that I have not mastered, and I do enjoy trying to reach that peak as much as possible. And with Pokemon Go, I've never watched Pokemon growing up, never played Pokemon games growing up, so it's kind of a weird turn to enjoy this. It's pretty cool. And then there's Minecraft. You know, everybody fucking loves Minecraft, especially me, because I'm a huge fucking creative person. Not necessarily that I play creative, however, I do enjoy building as whatever I can and wherever I can. Podcast I'm currently listening to. So a good podcast that I'm currently listening to is Your Mom's House. I would highly recommend Tom Segura and his wife Christina Pajinski, and they have some pretty cool guests sometimes. I especially enjoy the guests on the show because they do these segments where they get fucking weird, like they get super fucking weird, and a lot of it is based on like TikTok shit, and a lot of it is based on another part of it is based on like YouTube shit that just doesn't really seem to get a lot of traction, and for a very good reason. I think, me personally, I think, um, my personal favorite is Tom Segura's God, what was his name? Is it Garth Brooks? I think it's Garth Brooks. Is Tom Segura's like feud going on with Garth Brooks right now, and I think it's fucking as outstanding and hilarious. I think it has a lot of potential to do a lot of stuff that nobody really truly understands yet because Garth Brooks is a fucking robot and nobody wants to fucking admit it because, you know, it is what it is. He pays people off and shit. Another podcast that I've just started listening to is Are You Garbage? And essentially what this is Are You Garbage is people trying to figure out if somebody's trashy. They've had UFC fighters, they've had, you know, just comedians, just random people essentially. And they just ask questions about their childhood essentially. Did you steal shampoo from fucking hotels? Did you take their towels, you know? Were you like there for the buy one get one frees of like Buffalo Wild Wings and shit? Because the answer is you're garbage if you have. So I think it's a really cool show. It's a very weird thought process, but it is very, very good. You guys should definitely check it out at some point in time. Another show that I'm listening to is Danny Brown Show. You guys should absolutely fucking check out Danny Brown. He's the most hilarious man I think I've heard in a while. He really truly brings a new repertoire, if you will. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Really brings a new repertoire to podcasting. He has some pretty fucking good ideas. It's actually one that I've stolen for this show specifically. And you guys will see that here in just a minute, but you guys have to wait. Another podcast that I highly recommend for you guys is my own personal podcast, which is the Nonstop Rallying Podcast. I do that with my best friend Crazy Legs, and he all he does is talk about work, and I talk about how dumb he can be while talking about his job because he refuses to quit it. But you know, it turns out to be what it is. It's mostly gaming, random life events, you know, just random things in your life that most people don't really feel the need to talk about, but we talk about it anyway, you know, because it's just something that we enjoy doing. And this brings me to my very, very next segment, which is Spin That Wheel. And I'm going to, here's exactly what's about to happen. I'm going to spin this wheel. It's going to stop and land on a specific thing. It's going to play some music, and I'm going to talk about whatever it lands on. And for some reason, Dominique has suggested spiders for a section of this wheel. She's a fucking weirdo. I have no idea why. Now, with that stated, she wants me to talk about spiders. I have no fucking clue what spiders are. Eight-legged freaks, I guess. That was a great movie. That should be on the podcast. She wants me to talk about either gangs or fucking arachnids. I'm not sure which. But in the end, I think she really wants me to talk about the gangs, the spiders, you know. And that one dude from George Lopez, he's part of the gang. I don't know if you guys know who that is, because I didn't say his name. If you guys can tell me, please let me know. Black Widows, yeah, they're fucking cool. Thanks for the suggestion, babe. All right, we're moving on to the next segment. This is one that I actually added to this wheel because there's something very, very specific in mind that I want to talk about, and what that is information wars. And I keep wanting to talk about this simply because why are you standing there?
You asked for me to tell you random things to talk about. Do you want to know why I told you spiders?
No. But go ahead, tell me anyway.
Because I was scrolling through Facebook and there was a massive spider, okay? Sorry I told you to talk about spiders.
Spiders. She's into gangs on Facebook.
I am not.
The spider gang.
No, it was just there.
Gang.
Don't do that. Stop. You're going to make someone mad.
Gang.
You should show them Kira.
Then we are past this point.
Just gonna stare at me now?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Let's put the camera on you.
No. Please don't.
Why are you wearing your bath PJs?
It's not. It's.
What is the thing over your shoulders?
I don't know.
A bathrobe.
No, it's not.
Bath PJs.
No. I'll throw the octopus at you.
The octopus is part of the show.
I don't
Everybody,
throw it at
this is Kevin. They can see you. Please don't hit the camera or the mic. I would really appreciate it. Well, that's where Kevin lives now.
Kira, no. Kira can't have Kevin, though.
Then why do you keep throwing it like she can?
I threw it at you.
Doesn't matter if you threw it at me. Kira's here to receive, because she threw. What are you doing?
Coming to get Kevin without being in your camera.
You're such a weirdo.
I am. Thank you.
Kevin's mad he got thrown. Kevin's happy he's on my shoulder.
There you go.
Everybody, Kevin. Give it up for Kevin. Now put him back on the shelf where you got him.
Ow.
What do you mean, ow? It's a fluff. Everybody, Kevin. I live in a house of weirdos. Fucking spiders. What the hell? Oh, everybody. Information wars. That's where we left off. I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck it. We're moving on. This is something else that I wanted to add. Everybody, we're going to talk about food. So, as of lately, I've been trying to find some pretty fucking good mac and cheese and have been failing miserably up until a couple days ago. I say a couple days ago. It's been like 2 weeks, but I will never forget this. There has been this weird fucking thing that has happened since COVID where no fucking company seasons their goddamn mac and cheese, and it pisses me the fuck off. I want fucking seasoning on my mac and cheese. End of story. Anybody who says differently is fucking irrelevant in this world. End of story. Mac and cheese needs to be seasoned. Not because it tastes bad, but because it enhances the flavor. I gotta keep putting my hands up because I haven't quite got used to this camera yet. Enhances the flavor. You don't fucking serve me plain mac and plain noodles. What the fuck is... Or plain macaroni and plain fucking cheese. That is fucking garbage. It's not happening. I'm gonna give you a 1-star Yelp review. That's all I can do. Because I gotta pay for the food. I'm eating it. Because, you know, I'm paying for it anyway. With that stated, I found a burger joint called Bad Daddy's Burgers. And they finally, a fucking godsend, has actually seasoned their mac and cheese to a fucking perfect T. Perfect. perfect. It's beautiful. And it pisses me off. It's the only place that I have found that has decent mac and cheese, which is such a fucking weird concept. You would think in fucking 2022 we should be in a place where mac and cheese is like the most fucking God-sended of things. It's so easy to make. It's so easy to throw a little bit of salt and pepper on it. It's so easy to throw a little bit of garlic powder on it. It's so easy to throw some little fucking cayenne on it. You know, you can throw a lot of shit on mac and cheese and make it taste different and yet make it taste good. But serve me some bland ass fucking mac and cheese, I will never fucking come back to your restaurant. You had one chance to fucking make an impression. It's like ordering a plain bacon cheeseburger and it fucking tasting like shit. You know the rest of the food is bad if they can't do that at least. All right. Now, with that stated, we're going to move on to the next segment. My husband, Ryan Reynolds. Me and Ryan have been married for quite a few years now, and let me tell you what kind of ride this has been. He is abusive. He doesn't fucking give me child support like he's supposed to. He doesn't call me and ask me how I'm doing. He leaves me be. And, you know, I'm out here having sex with women, and by women I mean Dominique, and I'm having a kid now, and yet he's not going to pay any child support. I don't fucking understand it. With that stated, I want to let everybody know that Ryan Reynolds is a fucking asshole for not being there for my child. Makes me sad, you know, because the whole world expects a lot of him, myself included, and yet here we are. Next. Alright, Will. You fucking let me down. We're not fucking doing spiders again. Suck a dick. Random story time. Alright. I can tell you guys a random story. And I'm sure everybody here has figured out this podcast is not really for them. It's more for me. But with that stated, you can come into the mind of a simply mad man if you want. That's up to you. So, random story time. I'm going to tell you guys a very awesome story about my childhood. So, I'm 27. I realize with the facial hair and the nose plugs and, the shaggy, bushy hair that I appear to be early 20s, maybe 18. But I'm not. I'm actually, quite fat and quite portly, if you will. And I'm also not 18 at all. I'm a grown-ass adult. And there's some stories that I still remember from being 3, 4, sometimes every once in a while, 2. Very few of those. That's kind of where my cutoff is. But, for the record, I would just want everybody to have this very clear acknowledgement of what my life is like. So I grew up with parents who were in their 20s, like really early 20s when they had me. And there was a lot of stuff that went kind of unsaid, if you will, and a lot of stuff that kind of happened that probably shouldn't have happened, and this next story is one of them. So I remember being about 2, maybe 3 years old, maybe... I don't fucking know. Old enough to walk, old enough to be unsupervised for more than 2 minutes, and this is exactly what happens when you leave a toddler unsupervised. I had snuck into the refrigerator to find some chocolate. Believe it or not, who would have ever fucking guessed a child liking chocolate, right? So I sneak into this room or my refrigerator to get some chocolate, and I find this little thing. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's this little thing that my dad needed. I don't remember what for. I guess it doesn't really matter at this point, but I swallowed it. I ate it. I didn't fucking give a shit, Nobody does when they're 2, 3 years old. Hell, you don't know any better. Turns out that this thing that I have eaten is actually my dad's suppository, because he was quite interested in getting over his hemorrhoids or some shit. I have no fucking clue. Might have been for his shit, actually. I'm not entirely sure. Can you stop smiling at this, please? So I ate the suppository, and turns out what ends up happening is if you eat a suppository, you have to have your stomach pumped. I did not. The doctor actually said the opposite. I didn't need my stomach pumped. I guess it just depends on what it's filled with. So maybe I got lucky in this story. But just know, when looking at me in the future, you can, or hearing me in the future, even, just know that I ate a suppository as a child, and didn't realize what a suppository actually was until I was like 16 years old, maybe. And it's for those of you who don't know what a suppository is, it's where you stick a fucking pill up your ass. And I ate one, and I don't even know exactly how they work. It could be that they it could be that that he did it once and I just ate it anyway and I had no idea. Or it could be that it's just one single pill that stays there overnight and dissolves in your asshole. I really have no fucking clue. And to this day, I hope to fucking God I never need one. But, you know, that is what it is. You know the drill. We're talking about inflation today. I just want to let everybody know that my stocks have actually inflated in their prices, and I'm making millions of dollars, if you will, because greedy corporations like the ones I've invested in have actually made me a shit ton of money. And with that stated, inflation also caused coals to actually dissipate. And that's how I'm going to describe inflation for you guys today. It's through Kohl's Cash. And for those of you who don't know what Kohl's Cash is, you're probably 18 or younger. So Kohl's Cash is these prepaid cards that you can get, and essentially it's the fucking equivalent of buying a Walmart card or buying a fucking gas card or buying literally any type of fucking card that goes to any specific store. And that's essentially what Kohl's Cash is. So, inflation for Kohl's Cash, the way this worked is you can sell your Kohl's Cash for your actual cash back. But what the problem is that if you invested enough Kohl's Cash into Kohl's, what ends up happening is eventually you want your money back, right? Because that's the whole point of investing. Eventually you want your money back or more. You don't want less. Because, you know, math-wise, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I have a toe cramp. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fucking... Oh, God. Kill me. Anyway, so what ends up happening is... This Kohl's Cash is no longer worth the value that it happens. So, when you invest in Kohl's Cash... How do I fucking make this work? When you invest into Kohl's Cash, you're putting $40 on this card, essentially, and 6, 7 years, 8 years down later, sure, you're getting $40 back, but really this $40 is more or less $28, because mathematically, percentage-wise, if you will, it actually has this tendency of decreasing value in something specific. So over the course of like 2 years or 3 years, what's supposed to happen is inflation is supposed to take an effect for about 2.5%, depending on the population. And that's actually a good thing. You want about 2.5% increase of inflation for whatever your economy is like. And that means your economy is both growing and thriving. What's happening in this country, however, the United States of America, if you can't tell by my accent, because I'm a fucking American, what's happening in this country is we're actually inflating, deflating, reinflating, and thus the prices aren't stable. And now you can't have enough fucking Kohl's Cash to buy one fucking pair of jeans because the credit limit on this fucking Kohl's Cash is $30, but jeans cost $40. Does that make a lot of sense? I hope that made sense. With that stated, sell your Kohl's Cash because that business is no longer in. As soon as some fucking sucker says, "Hey, I want to invest in Kohl's," there you go. You're more than likely A-okay. What the fuck is it with the shit and spiders? Spiders. Fucking dumb. I think I only have one left. It appears I will not be having this one. I'm going to spin it one more time. If I don't get it, it is what it is. And that's the end of the podcast. Thank you all for listening for 35 minutes. Fucking... Oh, God, where is it? Spider? Okay. It really wants me to fucking talk about spiders. So Black Widow, Round Recluse, that's what's around my area. There's also banana spiders. If you guys don't know what that is, you should Google that. Are cicadas technically arachnids? God, arachnids, you know, tomato. Yeah, those are arachnids, and I'm pretty sure those are technically spiders because they're arachnids. Different species, different breed, but you know how the fucking... Okay, alright. Everybody, thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this first podcast, please feel free to check me out in the next podcast, which will be roughly, give me one sec, right? God, this is so fucking hard. Here. It'll be roughly right here, right above Kevin. And if you guys want to check me out in other things, I actually stream a lot on Twitch, twitch.tv/negative-ix. That's -9, if you will, because that's how fucking Roman numerals work, -9. And there's also a podcast right here. This is the one that I'm going to link to, me and Crazy Legs, my current best friend, who you know, he's kind of an asshole, but he thinks he knows it all, except for what he doesn't know, and then he admits he doesn't know it. So, but thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it, and I hope everything goes well in your life, except for, you know, donating in your time, because it goes towards me.